ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Welcome back to our Wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam sessions. We are currently on Canto 1, Chapter 17, which is entitled Punishment and Reward, a Reward of Kali. So, in the last session, we covered the remaining part of the 16th chapter and first 16 verses of the 17th chapter. We have seen that earlier the bull had asked Dharni, which is in the form of cow, so why are you lamenting? What is the cause of your lamentation? And in the last session, we saw that Dharni started responding to all those questions that the bull had asked. Bull is a Dharma. So Dharma has asked some questions and Dharni is responding. So the Mother Earth started saying that once you also stood on your four legs and spreading happiness everywhere. But now your three legs are broken, which is which she is mentioning that all the principles of religion were standing and they were intact in the Satyuga. But then slowly over a period of time, the principles of religions were broken. And now only 25% of the principles of religion are remaining in Kali Yuga. And she continued saying that the Lord, who is a possessor of unlimited qualities, and she mentions around 40 of them, 40 of those qualities, like truthfulness, cleanliness, compassion, self-control, many of those qualities that she mentioned. And she said that such a supreme personality of Godhead, who is full of all these unlimited qualities, he was blessing me, but now he has left me. So that is one of the reasons of her lamentation. Actually, that is the main reason of her lamentation. But then she says that I'm lamenting for myself. I'm lamenting for you, Dharma. I'm lamenting for demigods, sages, pitaras, devotees, and how the Varnashram system is getting broken. So I'm lamenting for all of these reasons. Glorifying the Lord's lotus feet, she also mentioned that how Lakshmi Devi, who is chased by everyone, but she is actually giving up her own abode and taking the service of massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. And those wonderful lotus feet, which had these different marks that we talked about, like the thunderbolt flag, goat, lotus, all these marks which are there on the Lord's lotus feet, that wonderful, glorious Lord's lotus feet were uh, decorating my surface by the footprints. And I was feeling very, very fortunate by such footprints of the Lord and Lord's close association that I was getting. But while I was feeling that happiness, the Lord has abandoned me. He has left. So Srila Prabhupada was mentioning in the purport, if you remember, that the Lord is omnipresent. And if you want to actually have Lord's association, Lord's presence, then we should hear, chant, and remember Him always. And then we will immediately feel Lord's presence. And while this discussion was going on, we saw in the last session that how Parikshit Maharaj appeared at this bank of Saraswati where this bull and cow was speaking. And Parikshit Maharaj was astonished and he was very, very surprised to see that a Shudra dressed in the dress of a king, he was beating this cow and bull. And he was shocked. How is this possible in my kingdom? And he observed the situation. He saw that the bull was as white as lotus. But such a beautiful, handsome bull, he was trembling with fear. He was standing on one leg and he was urinating out of fear. And then he looked at the cow and he saw that the cow was calfless. She was very weak and she was tearful and she was as if it was looking like she was hankering for grass. So looking at that, Parikshit Maharaj immediately warned Kali and he stopped him. He challenged him. He's saying that you dare to beat innocent cow and bull here in the kingdom because you are thinking that Lord Krishna and Arjuna are out of your sight. You deserve to be killed. So Parikshit Maharaj then promised the protection to cow and the bull and declared that he would punish anyone who's causing you suffering, even if they are devatas, even if they are very powerful devatas. But do not worry, I will even punish them. So, in the last verse that we covered, uh, he mentioned that the supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to law-abiding persons and to chastise those who stray from the ordinances of the scriptures in ordinary times when there is no emergency. So, if there is no emergency, everyone should be following their own dharma. And the king or kshatriya should protect those people who are following their dharma and punish them who are deviating from their own dharma. So only in case of emergency, it is sometimes possible to deviate from their own dharma. Otherwise, in ordinary times, we should all be following our own dharma. So this was what Parikshit Maharaj has mentioned. And he had asked in the previous verse, uh, he was talking to the bull and he was asking him, who has caused this suffering to you? Because he could see that the bull was only standing on one leg, three legs were broken. So he is asking this question, who has done this? So this question itself is little bit ridiculous from the perspective that you can see that this personality of Kali is beating him. So clearly he has done it, but still he is asking this question. Now, from 17th verse, we will see what Dharma is responding. So just like the question was astonishing from Parikshit Maharaj, Dharma's response is even more bewildering. So we will spend some time on these few verses of Dharma, and then we will go a little faster, little afterwards. Okay, so let us begin with the 17th verse. Dharma uvacha एतद्वः पाण्डवेयानां युक्तमातार्भयं वचः येषां गुणगणै कृष्णो दौत्यादौ भगवान् कृतः. Yes, Mantramulam. Go ahead.
The personality of religion said, "These words just spoken by you befit a person of the Pandava dynasty, captivated by the devotional qualities of the Pandavas. Even Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, performed duties as messenger."
So Dharma is acknowledging that he believes what the Parikshit Maharaj has just said. Because Parikshit Maharaj has spoken big, big words. He said that I will punish anyone and everyone, including devatas, if they are the cause of your suffering. And we saw that Parikshit Maharaj is living on earth and his lifespan is maximum 100 years, whereas the devatas, their lifespan is like millions of years as compared to our years. And uh, they are much more powerful than us. So Parikshit Maharaj, who just like an earthly living being, saying that he will even be able to punish the devatas is like big thing. And it is actually possible for Parikshit Maharaj. But someone has to believe also, right? But Dharma is saying that, yes, I believe you. The words that you have spoken makes me fearless. He's saying, yuktar yukta matar bhayam vachaha. So the sufferer will get immediately fearless after hearing words from you. So even and why he's having that faith? He's saying that even Lord Krishna was attracted to the qualities of Pandavas, and you are coming from that same lineage. And the Lord, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he also did menial service for the Pandavas. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that the devotees of the Lord are as powerful as the Lord himself. It's quite interesting. He said, actually, he goes further and he says that the devotees are even sometimes more powerful than the Lord. Even sometimes, the words of the devotees, when we hear them, they may sound as if they are impossible. They are very difficult to fulfill. But Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that even if they are very difficult to fulfill, they are properly executed by the grace of the Lord. If the devotee says something, then the Lord, by His mercy, He will make sure that those words are fulfilled. And what is the example? So the example is just like the Lord performed so many different services for the Pandavas. Lord gets bound by the love of the devotees. And we saw many examples of that in the previous chapter where that this beautiful verse came. Sarathya parashad sevana sakhya dautya वीरासनानुगमनस्तवन प्रणामान् स्निग्धेषु पाण्डुषु जगत्प्रणतिं च विष्णोर्भक्तिं करोति नृपतिश्चरणारविन्दे. So there it was mentioned that the Lord has performed many different roles in Pandava's life. So he became Sarathi, Sarathya. So he became the chariot driver for Arjuna. He became Parashad. He accepted the service of being the president of the Rajasuya Yagya. Then Sakhya. He was a friend. He became Dautya. He became a messenger. Virasana. Virasana means he even became a night watchman with a sword in his hand. He was protecting the Pandavas. And Anugamana means doing activities as Pandavas desired. Whatever they said, do this, he will do it. Stavana, more interesting. Stavana and Pranaman. So Stavana means he offered prayers. It is not Pandavas offered prayers to Krishna. Krishna offered prayers to Pandavas. And Pranaman means he offered obeisances like one younger in age to Yudhishthira Maharaj and others. So he did all of that. And it is mentioned that Jagata Pranatim Cha Vishnu, everyone is worshipping the Supreme Lord. Everyone is paying obeisances and following the directions given by the Supreme Lord. But here the Lord is doing the opposite. The Lord is obeying the Pandavas. Why? Because Snigdheshu Pandushu. Snigdheshu Pandushu means they are ready, Pandavas are ready to adjust their desires as per Lord's desires. They are malleable. And other thing which is mentioned is Bhaktim Karati Nripatish Charanaravinde. So they are lovingly serving the Lord's lotus feet. So that is why the Lord had agreed to do many of these different services for the Pandavas. So Dharma is saying that you are coming from the Pandavas lineage, and the Lord himself has agreed to perform duties as a messenger for you. So definitely, I believe in your words, and your words that you have just spoken, that is actually instilling fearlessness in me. And like any sufferer as well, who's like any person who's suffering, they hear your word, they will become fearless because of who's speaking those words. Next verse. न वयं क्लेशबीजानि यतः स्युः पुरुषर्षभ पुरुषं तं विजानीमो वाक्यभेदविमोहितः. Yes, Vidushi Mataji, welcome back.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. O greatest among human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our sufferings, because we are bewildered by all the different opinions of theoretical philosophers.
Yeah, this is quite an interesting response from Dharma. Now, question itself, as I said, was quite interesting from the perspective that Parikshit Maharaj is seeing who's causing the suffering. Cow and bull they are there in front of his eyes, and this person is beating them. So where is the question of asking who's the cause of your suffering? So the bull would have said, can you not see that this person is beating me and you are still asking me who's the cause of my suffering? So but instead of saying this, Dharma starts to speak some very bewildering verses. So starting from this 18th verse, 18, 19, 20, 21, and even 22nd verse, which is spoken by Parikshit Maharaj, is quite interesting and bit difficult to understand in the beginning. But we'll try to make some sense out of it based on Srila Prabhupada's purports. So what the bull is saying? He's saying that the greatest, so it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our sufferings. And the reason is because so many philosophers have said so many different things. So how can we mention who is causing our suffering? So the word is klesha bija. Klesha bija. Klesha means suffering. Bija is the root. What is the root of suffering? That is the question that Parikshit Maharaj asked. And Dharma is saying, this klesha bija is very difficult to ascertain. Why I am suffering? Actually, Kali is the direct cause because everyone can see Kali is beating the bull, and that is the direct cause of our suffering. But Srila Prabhupada is pointing out Again and again, in this last 2, 3 chapters, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned this multiple times, that nothing can happen without the sanction of the Lord. So it is even more difficult to understand. Are some devotees are suffering, and then we are saying that nothing can happen without the sanction of the Lord. So did the Lord sanction somebody else causing suffering to the devotees? The answer is yes, but the purpose is different. So the devotees understand that even if we see the direct cause, which is causing the suffering, there is an indirect cause as well, which is allowing the mischief mongers to behave in a certain way. And that ultimate cause is the Supreme Lord. And that is why they tolerate. Understanding that if the Lord was not the ultimate cause behind their sufferings, then the suffering could be even better, even greater. If it was a fair system, like you did this, and that's why you are going to get this reaction, then we would be doomed because there will be so much suffering that will come our way. We are fortunate that the Lord is the ultimate cause behind all causes. That when he sees that, oh, this is the turn of a devotee, even if they are sadhana bhaktas, he will just give them a token reaction, a small dose. He will just give a small dose. For everyone else, he will be like a strict judge. He's watching as a Paramatma, he's seeing everything. And he will be a strict judge. You did this, you are going to get this reaction. But when it comes to a devotee, he says, oh, my devotee has come. Okay, you have done this, you get this. He just gets a token reaction. And that is how, even when we say that the Lord is the ultimate cause of all causes, he's still partial to his devotees. So that is what we understand. And then Dharma is giving multiple different causes of klesha bija, why different people suffer. So in the next 2 verses, let us hear what are different causes of suffering. Text 19. केचित् विकल्पवसना आहुरात्मानम् आत्मनः दैवमन्ये परे कर्म स्वभावम् अपरे प्रभुम्. Sunananda.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandapana.
Turn down.
Some of the philosophers who deny all sorts of duality declare that one's own self is responsible for his personal happiness and distress. Others say that superhuman powers are responsible, while yet others say that activity is responsible, and the gross materialists maintain that nature is the ultimate cause. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Interesting, isn't it? So now, if it was like one thing was not enough for the answer as a Klesh Bija, he has given 4 different answers. And he's not even conclusively saying that which one of them is correct. Whether all of them are the Klesha Bijas, or just one of them is a Klesh Bija, or none of them are Klesh Bijas. He's not saying anything. He's saying that different philosophers are saying different answers. Some are saying that Atma, like the self, sometimes Atma is referred to as the self, like as a Atma, soul. Sometimes Atma is referred to as the mind. So he's saying that self is responsible because finally all the desires are originating from the Atma. So if the desires are coming from Atma, then based on those desires, some action is done, and then the reaction is coming, then the Atma, the self, is responsible for that Klesha Bija. He could have chosen some desires which would give him happiness, but he had chosen some desires which are sinful, and that is why he's getting the reactions which is distressed. Sometimes it is said daiva. Daiva here actually refers to, because the next one is karma. So karma and daiva, the little difference here is daiva is controlled by the superhuman powers. So devatas and the grahas, the planets, they are coordinating and managing the daiva. They are your own karma and the reaction accumulated from the past, but they are dispensed and controlled by the superhuman power. So some people say that daiva, because of that, you are suffering. Yeah, that is true as well. So first one is also actually true. We are suffering because of our own desires, our own self. Are you suffering because daiva? Yes, we are suffering because daiva as well. Because daiva is nothing but our own reactions which are accumulated, and now they are being dispensed by these superhuman powers, including the planets in our chart or whatever. When the planets move into particular house, then that particular area will be affected. Then the third reason is given as it is karma. Some people say that karma is everything, that we get happiness and distress based on our own karma. There is nothing else superior and nothing else is supreme. So the klesha bija is karma, one's own activities. And some other philosophers say, who are only materially focused, they said svabhava. Svabhava means material nature, the three modes of material nature, they are acting on us, and that is actually giving us the suffering. But the devotees understand, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, that the devotees understand that who is the cause of all causes. And the last line, he's saying, it is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that Lord Krishna is the ultimate cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Sarva Karana Karanam. Who's that? Ishvara Parama Krishna. That these are the causes, yes, that's fine. But saying that these are the only causes is the wrong thing. So klesha bija is this. Yes, it is the desires are coming from the self. Then we are doing our actions, karma we are doing, and that is why we are generating some results, reactions. Those reactions are controlled by the supernatural, superhuman powers, and then they are giving those reactions to us. Plus the swabhavam, the material nature, is also acting on us, and because of that, different karmas are getting generated. All of that is true. These are all giving, and they are either direct or indirect causes. But the ultimate cause of everything is that Ishvara Parama Krishna. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is controlling everything, and not even a blade of grass moves without his sanction. This understanding has to be there for every one of us. And when we understand that Krishna is behind and he's the ultimate cause of everything, then there is that understanding that will also come, that he will look after his devotees. Because if Krishna was not behind everything, then there is no hope for us. If someone else, we are serving Supreme Lord Krishna, and then this particular department of giving suffering is given to someone else who is not under control of Krishna, then there is a problem. We are worshipping Krishna, and someone else is giving me suffering. I better serve this other person who is giving me suffering so that he doesn't give me suffering. But once we understand that he is a sarva karana karanam, the happiness also comes from him, suffering also comes from him. And of course, there are some things which are in our hands, which we can change. But finally, the sanction is coming from the Supreme Lord, and he is our worshipable Lord, so he will look after us. Now, that particular reason is indicated in the next verse by Dharma. Let us see what he says.
Prabhuji, can I ask a question, Prabhuji?
It's a brief one, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Just
Go
can
ahead.
you explain the difference between Atmanam and Karma? Because both refers to one's own self and one's activities. Please.
Yeah, one's own self means, as I mentioned earlier, it is referring to the soul, and sometimes it is referring to the mind. And here, when it is said that you are the actually source of all the happiness and distress, it is referring that the what desires are coming from you. So the soul desires. So the desires are coming from the soul, and depending on what you desire, you will get happiness and distress. So the first one is referring to the soul. who's desiring, soul or mind who's desiring, and the karma is once those desires then turn into actions. They are all related, Mataji, because finally all four are related. First is soul desires. Then the nature, the three modes of material nature, they are acting on you. And that is why there is a default way that you desire. You can, of course, change that, but depending on your past karma, again, daiva comes there into play, what modes are acting on you currently. So, and then you do a particular action. Now that creates more reactions, and those reactions are either given to you now or they are stored into your bank balance, which is then managed by the grahas and the devatas, and that is your daiva. So all actually four are related. But Dharma is saying that some philosophers, and Srila Prabhupada, actually, if you go through the purport of that verse, you will see that Srila Prabhupada talks about there are six great philosophers, Kanada, Gautama, Patanjali, Kapila, Jaimini, and Vyasadeva. And they both propound a different kind of philosophy, six different philosophies. And then during their philosophical discussions, they focus on a particular way, particular things, which are the root cause of the Klesha Bija. So that is why Dharma is saying that different philosophers say different things. And he's giving these different four reasons. But basically, these are actually the reasons. They are indirectly are related. But the main important point to understand, all of them are controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if you miss that point in the philosophy, then there is a problem. Saying that karma is everything or daiva is everything, that creates a challenge.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Verse 20. अप्रत्यर्क्याद् अनिर्देशाद् इति केष्वपि निश्चयः अत्रानुरूपं राजर्षे विमृशः स्वमनीषया. Uma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There are also some thinkers who believe that no one can ascertain the cause of distress for the argumentation, nor know it by imagination, nor express it by words. O sage amongst the kings, judge for yourself by thinking all over this with your own intelligence. Hare Krishna.
It's interesting. Now he's giving one more cause and finally saying that I have given you 5 options. You choose yourself. It is like a exam question now. Multiple choice questions are given, and now he's asking, use your own intelligence, and you decide which is the cause. And in this verse, he said the fifth option, which is apratarkyad, anirdeshad. That there are also some thinkers who believe that no one can ascertain the cause of distress by argumentation, nor know it by imagination. So you cannot imagine what is the cause. It is very difficult. It is very difficult to find cause of distress. So the Lord is also apratarkyad, anirdeshyad. So you cannot know the Supreme Lord by argumenting, by through tarkas, and by imagination. So using your intelligence, using your mind, you are not able to understand the Supreme Lord. So this particular verse is also directing towards thinking that, oh, the cause of all causes is apratarkyad, anirdeshyad. So the Supreme Lord would be the cause. So, O Rajarshi, judge for yourself with your own intelligence. So, who's really the cause and why in these 5 options that Dharma gave, he did not even talk about this person as one of the option, who's beating me. So that Kali, who's beating him, is not even mentioned in one of the options by Dharma. And we can see a very simple example to understand why that is. So suppose a postman comes with a money order. Nowadays it is not there, but just understand that a postman is coming with a money order. and he's giving you $10,000 from that money order. When the postman gives you that $10,000, you don't get pleased with this postman thinking that, oh, this postman has given you this money. He is an amazing person. He is the best person in the world because he has given me $10,000. Why? Because you know that he is not the person who's sending the money. Someone else who's dear to you, he has sent the money to you, and postman is just an instrument. He's just taking the money and passing it on to you. He's just an instrument. And if the same postman next day comes with a letter from a credit agency asking that you haven't paid the bill and you have to pay it. So you don't beat up the postman saying that, oh, you are harassing me, you are asking money from me, and you are again and again coming and asking for money. Why? Because you know he is not the one who's asking the money. He's just an instrument. He is just a middle person who is causing this happiness and distress for you. Actually, the happiness and distress is because of some other reason. Similarly, when something bad is happening in our life, the person who's giving us that distress is just an immediate cause. He is an instrument, he or she is an instrument. There are other indirect reasons behind it, with Supreme Lord as the ultimate reason. So, postman is an instrument, and just like when he is giving you the money or asking for the bills to be paid, we are not happy or unhappy with that postman. Similarly, in our life as well, so whether it is your boss who's troubling you, or your spouse is troubling you, or your children are troubling you, or your parents are troubling you, or some other people around you, they are troubling, or some virus is troubling, or some war is happening and that is troubling you, economy is bad, that is troubling you. Whatever it is, the person who is immediately causing that is not the person who we should be unnecessarily be unhappy with, just like that postman, because he or she is just an immediate cause. They are one of the causes, and of course, the person who is causing uh, the distress to you, they are going to suffer their own reaction because Krishna is watching everything. So, why all of this thing is happening here? So, why this discussion is happening? So the reason why it is happening is given in the purport. So who's next? Parminder Prabhuji. In the purport, towards the end of the purport, like 6, 7 lines above, it says the conclusion is therefore.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The conclusion is therefore that the suffering of the representative of religion and the representative of the earth, as present before Maharaj Parikshit, were planned to prove that Maharaj Parikshit was the ideal executive head because he knew well how to give protection to the cows, the earth, and the Brahmins, the religion principles, the two pillars of spiritual advancement. Everyone is under the full control of the Lord. He is quite correct in his action when he desires something to be done by someone. Irrespective of the consideration of that particular case, Maharaj Parikshit was thus put to test for his greatness. Now let us see how he solved it by his sagacious mind.
Yeah, his sagacious mind. So he is a sage, and Dharma is actually giving him a puzzle to solve to explain the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. He should have just said Dharma because he's a principle of, he's the Dharma himself. He knows who's the ultimate cause because of which this suffering is coming. But instead of that, he has given this complicated answer to just prove the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. So let us see what Parikshit Maharaj is now going to say. 21st is verses Suta Goswami saying something, and then Parikshit Maharaj will start speaking from text 22. एवं सूत उवाच एवं धर्मे प्रवदति Sa samrad dvija sattamaha samahitena manasa vikheda paryachashtatam. Bhageshwari, go ahead.
Suta Goswami said, O best among the Brahmanas, the Emperor Parikshit, first hearing the personality of religion speak, was fully satisfied, and without mistake or regret, he gave his reply.
So Parikshit Maharaj was satisfied and pleased with the reply. And then Parikshit Maharaj started speaking without a mistake, without a regret, and that what he's speaking may be right or wrong, nothing like that he was having. He had this clear conscience that when he started responding. And why Parikshit Maharaj became pleased and satisfied with Bull's answer? Because he could see, Parikshit Maharaj could see that this bull was personally attacked. Yet he was not seeking revenge by pointing towards Kali and saying that he's the one who has made me suffer. Also, Parikshit Maharaj saw that there is a deep philosophical understanding that this bull has. That even if there is a direct cause, immediate cause visible, he is still thinking beyond that direct cause and thinking about these indirect causes like the self, daiva, karma, svabhavam, atarkyat, anirdeshad, all of these things he is able to think. So he is able to actually go beyond the immediate, which is where most of us get stuck. When something happens, we focus on who is caused this suffering to me and focus on that person. But whereas bull is not doing like that, he is going beyond that immediate cause. And the third reason why he was very happy with him, that he could see that the bull is not obsessed with fault finding. He's not pointing out, oh, the fault lies in this person. So that is our general mentality, that we are always looking for problem outside of us. When something happens, first thing is we want to actually point finger to someone else. We never look internally. We just look outside. So looking at that, the response, that is why Parikshit Maharaj, and hearing that, Parikshit Maharaj became very, very happy. He is satisfied and he is pleased. Now remember, Suta Goswami has told us that this bull is Dharma and this cow is earth. But Parikshit Maharaj currently doesn't know. He's just seeing that this Kali is beating a bull and a cow. But hearing his response, now Parikshit Maharaj understood that, oh, this is not like an ordinary bull. A person who could understand the law of the Lord can't be an ordinary personality. And why Parikshit Maharaj could understand this? Because he is equally elevated as Dharma. Only a great personality can understand who is a great personality. So because Parikshit Maharaj is elevated and he is a Rajarshi himself, that is why he could understand the deep meaning behind what Dharma had just spoken. And that is why he could understand that he is not an ordinary person. So that is why he starts speaking to Dharma and recognizing his greatness. Let us see what he is going to say. But before we go there, let us look at some quick some lessons that we can learn about the Klesha Bija. So, learning from Dharma about the Klesha Bija. So, the first thing Dharma has told us that there are many, many direct and indirect causes. And he had just mentioned few, atma, daiva, karma, svabhava, but there could be other causes as well. But the most important part is that the cause of all causes is the Supreme Lord Himself. The immediate cause of suffering is often visible, but the ultimate cause is not usually visible. It is much deeper and it is very complex. So that is why when Parikshit Maharaj asked, so Dharma had responded. And of course, here time is not mentioned. I said that there are many other causes could be there. Remember when Bhishma Dev was talking to Yudhishthir Maharaj, he identified that ultimate cause is time. Time is actually making everything happen like this. But time is also energy of the Supreme Lord only. So this is why we could see that there could be many direct or indirect causes that we can talk about. But finally, Dharma is teaching us that the life is very complex. And that is why we cannot reduce our suffering to one person or one event. That we cannot say that, oh, I'm suffering because of this person or this particular situation. It is a combination of many things which are happening. So let us take a quick example. Like if there is some sickness that happens, immediate cause could be there is some virus or bacteria that is there, and that is why we are getting sick. But the deeper causes could be there could be our lifestyle could be a problem, our past habits could be a problem, our karma, what we have done, or the material body itself, because of which we are suffering. And finally, we are living in this material world which is temporary and is dukkhalayam. So finally, we are going to get some dukkha in this material world. So there are multiple causes could be there. But finally, the ultimate cause is everything is happening under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So even the material world is under the direction of the Supreme Lord, and nothing happens without his sanction. And the good point is that he is not unjust. The Supreme Lord is not unjust. Even if, like, sometimes he is unjust from the good perspective for the devotees. He is not giving us the full justice. He is not giving us the full reactions of our actions. So what the devotee should do, understanding that the Lord is behind this situation, and the Lord is our friend, he's our well-wisher. So we should start thinking that what can I learn from this situation? Now that this has happened, what can I learn? Right? So one of the things that we also saw is that for devotees, the Lord reduces the suffering and gives only a token suffering. So how can we actually reduce this klesha? The whole discussion was about the klesha bija, and in the purport as well. How can we actually reduce this? So there are multiple things that we can do for reducing our suffering. First of all, stop blaming others. Because when we start blaming others, what happens is that the anger, resentment, and revengeful attitude in us starts growing. And if there is that anger, hatred is for the other person, then the other person is going to suffer because of that, because you have started blaming that person, and somehow or the other they are going to get their own reactions, but you continue to suffer because of that anger and hatred and the revengeful attitude that we keep creating in ourselves. So instead of reducing the suffering, we increase our suffering by blaming others. So first one is we have to stop blaming others. Second is accepting responsibility, accepting personal responsibility. So nothing in this world is random. Understand that the current result that we are getting is because of our current or past karma. And it is an opportunity. The third point is see it as a Lord's plan. So because we know that He is the ultimate cause behind this, and He is our well-wisher, so we can see it as a Lord's plan. It is an opportunity that the Lord has given us for our own purification. So we saw that he is already giving only a token reaction to us. So he is very merciful to us. On top of that, we can see that it is a Lord's plan for our own purification. We were not able to learn the lesson in a good way. So Krishna has given some little suffering so that we can start understanding that lesson. So look for that purification. What is the lesson that I can learn? And the final thing that we can reduce the suffering is taking shelter of Krishna. The real problem is our forgetfulness of Krishna. All the sufferings in this world that we are getting is because we have forgotten Lord Shri Krishna. In the spiritual world, it is Satchit Ananda. It is full of Ananda. But because we have forgotten Krishna, that is why we are in this material world where we are suffering. So the real solution for everything is to remember Krishna. So take shelter of Krishna and start remembering Krishna, and then our suffering will reduce. I am not saying here that the problems will reduce. The problems may remain. The external problems, which is currently causing us suffering, the problems may remain, but the inner suffering will go away. Just like in the Pandavas case, or many of these great devotees who are in Bhagavatam, which are mentioned, like Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, the external problems were there, but they were not suffering. But in our case, as soon as some problem comes, we start suffering. Is because we are not surrendered to Krishna. We haven't taken shelter of Krishna. So these are some of the ways that we can reduce our klesha, our suffering, by stopping to blame others, accepting the personal responsibility, seeing that as a Lord's plan for our purification, and finally taking shelter of Krishna and increasing our remembrance of Krishna. And all of this can be done by just reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna, and it is already mentioned that Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. So if we regularly read Srimad Bhagavatam, study Srimad Bhagavatam from a great devotee like Srila Prabhupada, who has written these wonderful purports for us. So by reading Srimad Bhagavatam from Srila Prabhupada, our Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, all these abhadras which are there in our heart will go away, and then the sufferings will be gone. Okay, let's move on to next verse. What Raja is saying now, Parikshit Maharaj. Rajo Vacha Dharmam Bravishi Dharmadnya Dharmosi Vrisharupadhruk Yad Dharma Krita Sthanam Suchakasyapi Tadbhavet. Vishakha.
The king said, O you, who are in the form of a bull, you know the truth of religion, and you are speaking according to the principle that the destination intended for the perpetrator of irreligious acts is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator. You are no other than the personality of religion. Hare Krishna.
Let those words sink little bit. What he has mentioned. Parikshit Maharaj is saying that the destination intended for the perpetrator of irreligious acts is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator. And because you have said this, oh bull, you are the knower of Dharma, you are Dharmadnya, and you are speaking the principles of Dharma. Hence, you are no other than the personality of religion himself, Dharma. So till now, Parikshit Maharaj did not know, but as soon as Dharma has spoken, he understood that he is not like a bull, ordinary bull. He is a Vrisha Rupa. He has taken the Vrisha Rupa. He has taken the form of a bull, but he is a Dharma himself. Because he perfectly knows the principles of Dharma. And what principle that made him understand that he is Dharma? Because the options that he gave did not have Kali's name in it. And he was not pointing that, oh, he is the one who has caused this suffering he's causing the suffering to me. So those who blame their aggressors for their misery get the same destination as the aggressors. And this is quite bewildering. One would say that how is that possible? A person comes up and abuses or beats up someone. And then the abuser points out that, yeah, he was beating me. Then is it that the abuser and the person who was getting abused get the same destiny? So I have a simple question. Now, based on you have heard this, what Dharma has said and what Parikshit Maharaj has said. Say if your car is hit by another driver, okay, you are driving a car and some other car came and hit your car. So the another driver has caused this. Should you identify the driver or not? And how do we reconcile that with this verse?
प्रभु करना पड़ेगा, इंश्योरेंस क्लेम नहीं मिलेगा वरना.
What about this verse then? Prabhu, Mukesh Prabhu. You
फंसा
are
दिए
blaming
प्रभु जी,
someone.
बहुत बहुत मुश्किल में फंसा दिए प्रभु जी आपने.
Anyone else? All these are hands up which are for reading or you wanted to say something?
Mine was Prabhuji for a question and reading, and now you have asked another question. So, yeah, up to I mean, up to you. Whichever one you want to take first, I'm happy.
I have asked questions, so that gets a priority, Mataji.
Sure, 100%, Prabhuji. So I can
Because
share some.
I always answer your questions. So now my turn to ask question.
Sure, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, the question, sorry, I couldn't understand, was the car hit by another car. And looking at this particular verse, Parishit Maharaj saying that the same sin is incurred by the person who is identifying the perpetrator. So your question is, how do we reconcile the two? That's what your question is?
Yeah, what should you do? Your car is hit by the other driver. Should you identify the driver or not?
I think, Prabhuji, from my very limited understanding, what Parishit Maharaj has mentioned is when someone does anything bad to you, identifying as in not in terms of identifying, it means that you don't have to blame that person so badly, because the context you have been telling us beautifully is how Krishna is behind everything. So you do what you need to do, but you do not blame that person because something else in the background might have happened or occurred. So you don't become the sinner by putting all the blame, and just you lose your calm and composure and treat that person in a very bad way just because they have done something bad to you. That's my understanding, Prabhuji, but yeah.
So as Mukesh Prabhu said, so if you're not blaming that person, do you just accept the responsibility and then not claim any insurance?
No, I will claim the insurance for because not recently, a couple of years ago, an older elderly woman hit my car. And obviously, I was really annoyed. But then when I came out, she was very elderly and she was shaking with fear. So my whole entire anger went away, and it switched on to how can I help this person who's trembling in fear. So you know how the sudden thing changes. So of course I took her number and everything, which I should have done, but didn't make me go and yell at her and become very negative and toxic with her. So that's one example. You do what is right, but you don't blame the person because nobody does. In this car situation, nobody deliberately tried to hit your car because it's not ideal for any of the parties. So,
Okay, fine. Sudharma Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. We are on a material platform. Yes, I will claim the insurance. But personally means I will not have anything against that person. He may be under stress, whatever could have caused that. His
Are you sure, Prabhu?
attention is gone, and then he made that incident. So that should be the thinking.
So
Okay.
even intentionally also, if we had done that in this
Yes.
case, we can't have a personal grudge because, as he said, like everything has a reason. He has to do that. We have to suffer that. So that has been destined. So nothing we can change.
Okay. It is easier said than done, right?
But most probably, at least in New Zealand, they're not intentionally doing it, which is
No,
one
no,
good
no,
thing.
I'm not talking about that, but not blaming the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is right that people may not be actually doing intentionally or whatever. But what I'm saying is that once something bad happens, we know the philosophy that we should not be blaming others and whatever. But I'm saying that it is really hard, isn't it, to practice
Yeah.
when
Yes.
something
Yeah,
really
maybe you have to
happens.
practice a lot to put it into practice, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Surananda Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In one sentence, I'll say, Prabhuji, we need to act, we should not react.
Okay, nice. Bhageshwari Mataji.
Yeah, almost everyone has covered, but the same thing, Prabhu, because somehow or the other, the suffering has to come. So it has come in this way. Um, yeah. So just do what needs to be acted, and then, yeah, no personal grudges or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. And Bharadwaj Rishi Prabhu, you had your hand up, but I think looks like the point was covered, so you have taken it
Yes,
down.
Prabhuji. I mean, like, see, like Bhageshwari Mataji said it, like, whatever we are facing, we deserve to face it. So there's no point in blaming anyone else. We just deserve it and we got it. And in fact, what you said is like Lord even reduces it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, we would have gotten even more. So we should be thankful for whatever happened. In fact, but coming to insurance claim, that's physical matter, material matter. Yes, we should cover. We should, because Krishna also gave that idea that we could actually claim. That facility was there, so we should use it.
Yes. Nice. Thank you very much. I think you have all covered um, the real purport, real understanding of what Parikshit Maharaj is saying. It is like this entire conversation which is happening, it has quite a lot of deep meaning. These statements are not like you can't just take it as literally what is being said there. Just like because if you actually want to see everything literally, then the answer was very simple. The initial question itself was ridiculous, that who's causing your suffering. He could see that this person was beating, still he asked. Then Dharma could have just said that, oh yeah, this person is causing my sufferings, but he still did not answer like that. He is giving some further very complicated answer. And then on top of that, the conclusion that Parikshit Maharaj has reached after hearing Dharma's response is even more bewildering. So there is this deeper meaning, deeper understanding. And this verse actually caused quite a lot of grief to me personally. When I first, many years ago, when I read and heard this particular verse and the translation, I couldn't take it. How is this possible? How is this possible? And I asked so many devotees this question to get my curiosity satisfied that why Parikshit Maharaj is saying like this, that the perpetrator and the uh, person who's pointing to the perpetrator, they are getting the same result. Now there is a misunderstanding there. It is not that literally from the karmic point of view, the perpetrator and the person who's pointing to the perpetrator are getting the same reaction. That is not what the line is saying. We immediately assume that, or at least I assumed that when initially I read that. I thought that, okay, somebody, say, suppose somebody kills someone, and then a witness comes and says that, yeah, I saw this person killing. So the person who has killed is going to get a reaction. But because this person has pointed to that person, is he also going to get the same karmic reaction of killing a person? That is not what the verse is saying. That is a misunderstanding that just comes directly to our, at least to my mind, it came in the beginning. But what the statement says that you are speaking according to principle that the destination intended for the perpetrator or religious of a religious act is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator. So the destination is same. It is not the reaction is same, destination is same. And why that is the case? So when the perpetrator is doing some activity, he is acting, he or she is acting in this material consciousness that I have some power and I am going to, because and this person is weak, so I'm going to abuse that person and I'm going to exploit that person. So this is coming from material consciousness. And when the person who's pointing that or pointing to that person saying that, oh, he has caused the suffering to me, the other person is also in that material consciousness. And hence both stay in the material world. Because none of them are thinking beyond their immediate causes. The perpetrator is using the material consciousness to abuse, and the person getting abused is not seeing beyond the immediate cause. So they are also remaining in the material consciousness. So once, like Dharma is seeing beyond the immediate causes, once the person starts seeing beyond the immediate causes, then they are making progress from the material consciousness to the spiritual consciousness. And because both of them are remaining in material consciousness, their destination is same, which is the material world. It is not that they are going to get the same karmic reaction, but their destination is same, which is in this material world. So overall, then do we just ignore the perpetrators? No, the verse is not saying that the witness should never identify the criminal in a court case. That is not the case. It is also not saying that the perpetrators should be just left on their own. Because we will see in next few verses immediately, where even though Parikshit Maharaj has said like this, he is still ready to punish Kali. It is their duty, Kshatriya's duty, to protect others. So the Kshatriyas have to actually make sure that they are punishing the perpetrators. So what is this verse then asking us to do? So we have already discussed in that previous learning slide, but quickly, imagine someone is throwing coal at you, burning coal at you. So one person will actually start looking for who threw it on me. And then the other person will think about, first let me put this fire off, and then heal the wound that has caused by this burning fire on me. So the first person remains trapped in that anger. His wound is also not getting healed, and it is causing more suffering because he's just looking for who has thrown the coal on me. But the second person is focusing on the solution. Dharma is teaching us this mentality, the second person's mentality. That now that this has happened, what can I learn from it? What should I focus on? So in conclusion, the justice and accountability are necessary. So Kali is causing this pain to cow and bull. So Kali should be punished. That is right. But you should not keep the hatred and the fault-finding nature and the anger and this revengeful mentality within us. As long as you do not have that mentality, and then you are referring to someone that he has caused this, that will be okay, because the justice and accountability needs to be there. But at the same time, the devotee's heart should be free from that hatred that we talked about, and the devotee should also know that it is without Lord's sanction, nothing would have happened. So if this suffering is coming in my life, it is Lord's plan for me. Lord has given me a token reaction, and he is also giving me an opportunity to purify myself. So devotee understands that whether that is benefit or loss, both are God sent, and thus it is by his own grace. So this line is coming from the purport, one of the purports where Srila Prabhupada said that whether it is gain or loss, both are coming by his grace. Yeah, this is in the purport of 22, around third line. Let's read actually the first few lines. Who's next to read? Purport of 22. First few lines. Yes, Sudharma Mataji, go ahead.
A devotee's conclusion is that no one is directly responsible for being a benefactor or a mischief monger without the sanction of the Lord. Therefore, he does not consider anyone to be directly responsible for such action. But in both the cases, he takes it for granted that either benefit or loss is God sent, and thus it is his grace.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So both benefit or loss, the devotee sees as Lord's grace. Can you imagine this? Like some benefit we can immediately see as Lord's grace. That's fine for a devotee. They can see that as Lord has given me this benefit. but some loss as well happening in our life, seeing that as Lord's grace. That's quite advanced consciousness. So when we come to that consciousness, then we will start understanding and the statement. And that is this conversation between Dharma and Parikshit Maharaj. All right, let us move on. Is there any question or comment on what we have discussed till now?
Hare
Because it was
Krishna,
quite.
Prabhuji. I
Yes,
have a
go ahead, Mata.
question. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question was around this topic, which is a really amazing topic. And the question, the point you mentioned earlier was, understanding we are being that person, any person who's giving us trouble or some grief is an instrument. Now, my question from practical perspective is, if we have that understanding very, very well embedded into our consciousness, which is good, now there might be a side effect that if someone is trying to, harm us in some or the other way, it's quite easy for us to sort of, ignore or overlook that and not take any appropriate action. And not, yeah, if you don't have any grudge, maybe that will be like you don't want to take a lot of action to harm that person back. Of course, we'll never harm anyone, but we'll try to protect ourselves. But that tendency to just overlook and just ignore that, how can we handle that aspect if we are really diligently following this principle, if that makes sense?
Yeah, we have to act based on our current consciousness. And definitely we can actually think about how we can improve our consciousness. And that is why all these examples of great devotees which are given. Now, these great devotees' consciousness is at completely different level. Imagine Prahlad Maharaj suffering from Hiranyakashipu so much, and when it came to make a prayer, and Narsimha Dev was asking Prahlad Maharaj that ask for something, ask for something. So and that's in that situation as well, thinking of what good he can do for his father Hiranyakashipu, who has caused his suffering. So he asked for some benediction for his father, isn't it? So the person who is making you suffer, Prahlad Maharaj is praying for his well-being and how he can make some progress in spiritually. This is like a completely different consciousness, which um, which we cannot imitate as such. We can think that this is the goal that we want to reach, that even if someone is causing some harm to us, instead of having some revengeful attitude towards them, having this completely opposite attitude of offering prayers and thinking well, like doing some well wishing for them. That is what we want to do. But where we are currently standing, based on that, we have to at least see what we need to actually do practically. So because different people will be at a different level, so we need to actually see where we are at, and then accordingly we can take the action. So Parikshit Maharaj currently he has seen this bull who's hurting, sorry, the Kali who's hurting the bull and cow, and he immediately, now in next few verses we'll see that he will take out his sword and is ready to kill Kali, immediately punish Kali. But the same Parikshit Maharaj, when he gets cursed after some time, like in the next two chapters, we are going to see this 18th and 19th chapter, that how he gets cursed by Shringi. And then, even though he has the ability to counter curse Shringi or do something to Shringi, take some action for him, on him, he still completely forgives him. And he just doesn't, like, he just ignores it. Okay, I have received the curse. What can I do now? So his focus is on that. Like now that this has happened, what can I do now? What is Krishna giving me? What opportunity Krishna is giving me in this situation? So that is a advanced consciousness. So even if we are not able to be a well-wisher of someone who's causing us harm, we can at least be self-centered in a way that think about what can I do now to improve. And that itself is a big step forward in our consciousness. So I would just suggest that if we have this mentality to always look for what can I learn from this situation? What opportunity Krishna has given me to learn from this situation? If we always look for that opportunity to improve, we will be a much better person. And it is not far away then that in this lifetime, it is possible that we can develop that consciousness of Prahlad Maharaj that we were talking about earlier.
It's
Is that
amazing.
okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Bharadwaj Rishi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, so if, see, we are learning that, Lord is the cause of all causes. Like, He's arranging depending on, our, depending on our actions, the reactions are actually arranged by the Lord. So, if everything is taken care, then why do we actually need Kshatriyas, or people who are actually punishing? Like, are we intervening in Lord's process?
Actually, this is the one of the philosophies of Daivavad. Daivavad says that everything is ordained by Daiva. So that is why there is no need for us to do anything. And then there is a completely opposite philosophy, which is Karmavad. Karmavad means no superpower can do anything. I achieve everything by my own karma, by my own actions. Both philosophies are wrong. That not everything, like it is not happening randomly, right? So all the activities and all the reactions that we are getting, they are related. So daiva is important, but the karma is also important. So karma is what? So daiva is like this Lord is a cause of all causes, but is he actually changing your free will? No, the free will is still with you. So the karma, and the karma is actually coming from the desires, they are all your own. And the Lord is not interfering in those desires and the karmas that you are doing. So even if the daiva is there, there is an opportunity given to us by our free will to change that daiva. You can make prayers, you can actually change the action currently to change it. So the example that we talked about in the first initial 10 sessions of journey of self-discovery, when we talk about this karmavad and daivavad, we always talk about this agriculture example, that one farmer will say that everything is ordained by the Lord. I don't have to do anything, whether it is good crop or bad crop. It is all Lord's plan. I will just sit back and relax. But even if the Lord gives enough rain, if you haven't sown the seeds itself, which is your karma, then no matter what good rain, bad rain comes, it is not going to affect you. It is the result will be always bad for you because you haven't done your karma. And the karmavadi will say that, oh, that there is nothing in the hands of Lord. It is all my own actions are going to give me good result, good or bad result. So he plows the land, he puts the best of the seeds and whatever. He has done his karma perfectly. But if the rain itself doesn't come, then no matter what good karma you have done, if the daiva is not with you, you will not get the reaction, the result that you were expecting. So both karmavad is incomplete and daivavad is incomplete. Daiva is based on your karma, and no matter what karma you do, if the daiva is not there, you will not get the result that you want. And all of that is controlled by the Supreme Lord. But he doesn't control your desire, your free will, so you can still change things. Is that making sense, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. I was thinking, the role of Kshatriyas, in punishing the miscreants. Miscreants are bound to get their own suffering eventually. By Kshatriyas, why do Kshatriyas need to impose the
Oh, yes, yes. I
punishment?
think a small part of that answer, I went into the philosophical thing, but the main question was this. So I'll come to that. So Kshatriya is also a duty. That is a varnashram dharma that we talked about earlier. So while we are having the modes of material nature acting on us, we have to actually purify our modes by taking a particular duty in the service of the Supreme Lord, and then we complete that duty, and that is how we'll get completely purified slowly over a period of time by doing varnashram. So that is why the kings are called Nara Deva. So they are the gods on the earth. Why? Because they are doing God's activity or God's duty of establishing the principles of religion on the earth. So they have to actually do this punishing activity, just like the Supreme Lord is going to do the punishing activity. They are doing that activity themselves
Okay.
on behalf of the Supreme Lord. So, and it is required from like the multiple perspective. First of all, so suppose you go to a police and says that, and you say that, oh, this person, I saw that this person has murdered or this person has stolen some things from me. And if the police says, this is all Krishna's plan, don't worry. Sooner or later, this person will be punished. Now imagine what will happen. The problem are multifold. First of all, the trust will be gone of the person who is gone for complaining. The second thing is the criminal will think that there is no one who's controlling me, and they will do more and more. So to put that law in order, that to give some deterrent for the criminals, this is required. Kshatriya's duty is to protect. So earlier in the previous chapter itself, there was a verse that we talked about, that paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. So paritranaya sadhunam automatically happens when vinashaya cha dushkritam is done. So protection, the Kshatriya is providing, mainly they are doing the protection for the sadhunam by doing vinashaya cha dushkritam. So they are establishing dharma, and dharma samsthapanarthaya happens because of they are doing all of that.
Oh, thank you.
Is that
Thank you.
making sense, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. The next one, yeah, Aminder Prabhu, your hand is up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I'll put it down. Tani has
Okay.
come, so it will be more noise.
Yeah, fine. Bhageshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in that context, say if someone is a cause for our suffering, or kind of, because of them we are suffering, and then as part of our improvement or action, we take that, okay, staying away or being like little far from that, so that we don't go into that mental peace and then go that have that agitation in our mind. So staying away, or is that still under the destination is also being identified here as the material world destination, or how to react that, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so mainly as we saw that it is not based on our action, we are going to get the result here specifically. It is about the consciousness while doing that action. Even when you are pointing towards someone, what is your consciousness? And when we are going away from that situation, what is your consciousness? So that is going to actually decide the result. If you are going away from another person because of your hatred, or because you don't like that person, or whatever mentality that we have, then that is going to give us the same destination as the perpetrator. But if you want to protect yourself, if you want to actually learn the lesson from this, you are thinking like, what Krishna has given me the lesson to learn. So this person is able to press some buttons and I am becoming angry. So Krishna is actually giving us an opportunity to improve our tolerance, to improve how this devotee is helping me to progress in my consciousness. Because when we say that the devotees have to develop so many good qualities, like this 26 qualities that we are talking about in our Saturday programs currently, that all these wonderful 26 qualities, how are we going to develop? And how would we know that whether we have developed those qualities or not? This humility, tolerance, all these qualities, we will get the opportunity to practice and display in the devotee community. When something is happening, then how we are responding to it. And that doesn't mean that we can uh, we should put ourselves again and again purposely into some difficult situation which is not conducive for our bhakti. So I'm not saying that it is we should not be staying away from a person who's causing us trouble. That is fine, but the consciousness is important. Consciousness is what devotion, what the way that the other person is doing, it is up to them. I don't want to hate that person, but for me, it is difficult for me to actually continue my devotional service in the association of that particular person. So I will choose my association.
Right.
I will choose a positive association which will be helping me to progress in my Krishna consciousness. So if that consciousness actually we keep, instead of blaming always or talking about the other person ill, because then that hatred has actually created in our heart. So that we can always again, there is accountability and this is required. So we can always point out without having the hatred or without having this envy into our heart about what someone in the community is doing, which is not good. And then let the Kshatriyas take the action, or their mentors, or like in the devotee community, like their mentors or their um, spiritual masters can take the corrective action instead of we taking that and we doing in that situation, or the temple authorities can do something. Is that making sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, it makes sense, but it is very hard to,
Yeah, and
immediately change our mind to be in that consciousness.
yeah, but we can practice, right, Mataji?
Yeah,
So now that we know that this is what we need to do, that we don't want to develop the hatred and envy into our heart. So, because then that is actually not good for your heart itself, like yourself. You're going to remain in the same destination.
right.
If you want to remain in material world, then fine, we can continue what we were doing earlier. But if you don't want to actually remain in this material world and go to the spiritual world, then definitely we require improvements. That is why the scriptures are given. Srimad Bhagavatam is actually teaching us all of that.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. Okay. There are many more hands up. Can we actually just take a quick 1 minute for each three of you? Okay. Vishakha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I was just thinking it's very beautiful teaching. And like when the real time comes, it's really very difficult. But right now we are sitting nicely and hearing that, oh, we should do like this. But we can, at this moment, I was just thinking we can just pray to the Lord that what we have learned, we can practice when the time comes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Hare.
definitely. The prayers will help us. And also practice will help. Even though the prayers will help, and prayers will help in practicing. Okay. So we have to keep trying ourselves as well to practice. Good.
Yes,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Shama Kumari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'll quickly ask my question. This question is on someone else's behalf. So, basically, what should a devotee do when they have to deal with non-devotees, especially on the issues of properties? When obviously when the parents they go and then they do not do the will. Many times there is a unrightful claim of the properties, and one a sibling is a devotee, another sibling is a non-devotee, and in that situation how should a devotee behave, like if obviously it's the something which is not rightful that is happening, so because in that situation like as
Understood,
Krishna says.
Mataji.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
I understood your question.
Yeah,
So I
sure.
just answered this question yesterday for some other devotee. Like what Yudhishthir Maharaj did. This is an exact situation which Yudhishthir Maharaj was in. He is a devotee of the Lord, Duryodhana is not, and Duryodhana is taking away his property, isn't it? So what Yudhishthir Maharaj did is Yudhishthir Maharaj saying that, yeah, I am a devotee. I have to actually have these 26 good qualities. So even if Duryodhana is taking my property, I will let him take. Did he do like that?
No, Prabhuji, no.
No. He is Ajata Shatru. He doesn't become enemy of his enemy. So his consciousness is never of an enemy. But at the same time, whatever is his, because he has to actually establish dharma as well. If it is his rightful claim and he allows other people to just usurp that property, then even if he becomes a king over a period of time, other people, his subjects, will think that no matter what it is, I will just take anyone's property and it is fine. So he has to actually establish the principles of religion. So whatever his rightful claim, he will make sure that he will not take more, he will not take less. Of course, out
Thank
of
you.
compassion, he also offered um, to take only uh, five villages. Also, he also took only half of the kingdom, even though he was actually was able to take the full. So
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yudhishthir Maharaj is exalted. He can just do all these things. But from the perspective, like as I was mentioning to earlier, to Lochana Hari Mataji, that depending on what consciousness that we are, like what level we are at, we should not be showing this the compassion on or okay renunciation as well. So wrongful renunciation that okay, I am a devotee now, I don't need anything, so let's leave everything and let anyone take it. If you're really renounced, the real renunciation is using everything in Krishna's service, isn't it? Nectar of Devotion, you have seen this. So
Yes,
if you
Prabhuji.
really are renounced, then take whatever is your rightful claim and then give it to Krishna. That is better instead of letting Duryodhan take it. Right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you
So
so much.
Srila Prabhupada also, when the Juhu properties situation happened, he did not let that Mr. Nair to take away the property and money. He fought with him. But at the same time, he was not he was not envious of Mr. Nair. He was not revengeful towards him. So our consciousness should remain pure as we can keep at this point in time with our level of advancement and learn from it and try to solve the problems properly.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Hare Krishna.
All right. Let us move on. We still have some time. Good. Next verse, 23rd. अथवा देवमायाया नूनं गतिरगोचरा चेतसो वचसश्चापि भूतानाम् इति निश्चयः. विदुषी माताजी, उमा माताजी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thus it is concluded that the Lord's energies are inconceivable. No one can estimate them by mental speculation or by word of jugglery. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so here Parikshit Maharaj is referring to that what Dharma had said. Atarkyad, what was that? Apratarkyad anirdeshad. So he is mentioning here that yes, Lord's energies are inconceivable and no one can estimate them by mental speculation or by word jugglery. So he's saying that apratarkyat and anirdeshad is referring to Lord because these are Lord's energies which are those inconceivable to know by mental speculation and word jugglery. Next verse. Very important verse. Tapa shaucham daya satyam iti pada krite krita adharmam shaish trayo bhagna smaya sanga madaistava.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In the age of Satya, truthfulness, your four legs were established by the four principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But it appears that three of your legs are broken due to rampant religion in the form of pride, lust for women, and intoxication. Hare Krishna.
So in Satya Yuga, Parikshit Maharaj is saying to Dharma that you had four legs. Basically, Dharma is standing on many principles, but the four prominent principles which are mentioned here, and that's why it is said that Dharma has four legs. So Dharma is standing like in Satyuga, he was standing on four legs, which are austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. So Tapa, Shaucha, Daya, and Satya. So these four are the main principles of religion on which it was standing in Satyuga. But in Treta Yuga, Dharma was standing only on three legs because the principle of austerity, which started like full in Satya Yuga, but towards the end of that leg was broken. It reduced to almost zero. And that's why austerity leg was gone. And in Treta Yuga, Dharma was standing only on cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But in Treta Yuga, even though cleanliness was there full at the beginning of the Treta Yuga, towards the end of it, that cleanliness leg was also broken. And that's why in Dwapar Yuga, Dharma was standing only on mercy and truthfulness. And in Kali Yuga, Dharma is standing only on truthfulness currently. Mercy is also gone. And as the Kali Yuga advances, this leg of truthfulness will also be broken and there will be no principles of religion remaining. And at that time, then Lord Kalki will come and then annihilate everyone. And then we will start from Satyuga again. And why these three legs are broken? Over a period of time, it is said that it is because of the pride, lust for woman, and intoxication. So here it is important to understand that these four principles of religion, which is austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, and it will come now again in probably those verses we may not be able to cover in today's session, but in 38, in 38, 39 verse, 38th verse, the four activities are given which actually break these four principles. Austerity is broken because of intoxication. Cleanliness is broken because of illicit sex. Mercy is broken because of meat eating. And truthfulness principle is broken by gambling. And this is the origin of the four relative principles given by Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. He's not randomly saying that, okay, we should create some moral codes. And that's why let us say that, oh, okay, he just one day he thought, okay, let us say that no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, and no gambling are the four principles that we will follow in ISKCON. No, this is coming from these verses, from this 17th chapter. The four principles which are given in this 24th verse, and the four activities which are breaking these four principles, which are given in 38th verse. And because of that, Srila Prabhupada has given us these four relative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. Okay, let's go ahead. Idanim dharma padaste satyam nirvartayedyatah tam jigrukshatya dharmoyam anrute naidhita kali.
You are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along. But personified Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg.
Thank you, Mother. So you are now standing only on this truthfulness leg in Kali Yuga. And Kali is also trying to destroy that leg itself. So already it is so difficult for you to stand as Dharma. You are only standing on one leg. And Kali is also now trying to break that leg. So this is what like earlier verse was saying, that in Satya Yuga you are standing on four legs, and in Kali Yuga you are standing only on truthfulness. So that journey we already talked about in the previous verse. Srila Prabhupada in the purport mentions quite important points about austerity and cleanliness. So I'll read those lines, around third line or so from the top, which talks about austerity. He says, austerity means to accept voluntarily things which may not be very comfortable for the body, but are conducive for spiritual realization, for example, fasting. So austerity means taking something like some difficulties which the body doesn't like, but we are voluntarily accepting it because they are good for our spiritual progress. Like fasting on Ekadashi, fasting on Janmashtami or some other appearance days. So all of that actually body wants food. It is body doesn't want to just fast, but we are voluntarily accepting. That is austerity. And cleanliness, like few lines below that, he says, similarly, cleanliness is necessary both for the mind and for the body. Simply bodily cleanliness may help to some extent, but cleanliness of the mind is necessary and is effected by glorifying the Supreme Lord. So we can clean ourselves by glorifying the Supreme Lord. And the cleanliness of mind and body both are required. External cleanliness by taking regular bath, keeping everything clean, that is fine, but the mind also needs to be cleaned. So that can happen by glorifying the Supreme Lord. Next verse. इयं च भूमिर्भगवता न्यासितोरुभरा सती श्रीमद् श्रीमद्भिस्तत् पदन्यासै सर्वथा कृतकौतुका. Gautam.
The burden of the earth was certainly diminished by the personality of Godhead and by others as well. When he was present as an incarnation, all good was performed because of his auspicious footprints. Hare Krishna.
So burden of earth was removed by Lord when he was present there. And it was all auspicious because of the touch of his lotus feet, which Mother Earth had also said earlier that how she was feeling, that she was so fortunate. She was even feeling that she was more fortunate than the queens, other queens of the Lord, and as well as other the gopis, even Lakshmi Devi. She was feeling that she was even more fortunate because of that, because she was getting the association of the lotus feet. Next verse. सोचत्य शुक्ला साध्वी दुर्भगे वोज्झिता सती अब्रह्मण्या नृपव्याजा शूद्रा भोक्षन्ति मामिति. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Now she, the chaste one, have unfortunately forsaken by the personality of Godhead, laments her future with tears in her eyes. For now she is being ruled and enjoyed by lower class men who pose as rulers.
Yeah. So now that same chaste earth, which is because the Lord is gone, so he's saying that being abandoned by the Lord, she is lamenting about her own future, and she is being ruled by the lower class people who are posing as rulers. And earlier, Mother Earth also said the same thing. The Kshatriyas are supposed to be trained, but those who are now Shudras, they are appearing as administrators elected by the other people, and because they are not trained, they are called Shudras. They have no spiritual understanding of how to rule. So in the purport as well, here Srila Prabhupada is talking about the same points, that trained rulers, Kshatriyas are the trained rulers. But the untrained rulers, they win because of the popular vote. And the problem with them is that they do not offer any protection to the suffering being. And they create an intolerable situation for everyone. And the third thing is mentioned is they illegally gratify themselves at the cost of the comfort of the citizens. And Srila Prabhupada is offering a solution. He is saying that what is the solution? Train the people on Srimad Bhagavatam. That will curb the irreligious tendencies. That if the ruler is not doing his job, like the top down is not possible, then bottom up. Like train everyone in Srimad Bhagavatam so that the irreligious activities which are allowed generally, because people are not trained, they don't know what to do and what not to do. That's why they are doing it. But if they are trained, then they will stop doing the religious activities, trained on Srimad Bhagavatam. There is that analogy is still again mentioned, which we have discussed before, that the why protection is required. So the rainfall analogy, which we talked about, even though there is rain in the rainy season, we still take an umbrella or a raincoat to protect ourselves. So similarly in Kali Yuga, even though there are these problems which are going to come, the Kshatriya, it is their duty to protect. So we can't just say that, oh, it is Kali Yuga, all these problems are going to be there, why worry? So we can't do like that. Kshatriyas have to actually make sure that they are protecting the citizens. 29th verse. Tam jigham sumabhipreetya vihaya nrupalanchanam tatpadamulam shirasa samagad bhayavivvalaha. Go ahead, Sudanma Prabhu or Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji, we are doing 28 or 29, Prabhuji?
Oh, the chaste one. Okay, we have covered that. 28th verse. Iti dharma mahim chaiva santvaitva maharatha nishadamadade khangaham kalaye dharma hetave.
Translation. Maharaj Parikshit, who could fight 1,000 enemies single-handedly, thus pacified the personality of religion on the earth. Then he took up his sharp sword to kill the personality of Kali, who is the cause of all irreligion. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Parikshit Maharaj is now ready to kill. So he has, like, even though he has talked about the perpetrator and pointing to the perpetrator, they are in the same destination. He knows that what is his duty as a Kshatriya to protect this cow and bull, whose earth and dharma, and he decided to kill Kali with his sharp sword, and then he will establish the religion again. So that is why he has started it. So here, quickly, we look at, we have discussed this, but we can see there are the 4 pillars of Dharma: austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. And what is breaking those pillars? Austerity is broken by intoxication, cleanliness is broken by illicit sex, mercy is broken by meat eating, and truthfulness is broken by gambling. And how we can reinstate the pillar in our life is by following these 4 relative principles. So we can reinstate austerity by following no intoxication. We can enable cleanliness by no illicit sex, and we can reinstate the mercy principle in our life by doing no meat eating principle, and we can reinstate the truthfulness principle by not getting involved in gambling. So that is why these 4 relative principles are very important in our life. And we will probably talk a little bit more when we come to verse 38. But let us go ahead and see what Parikshit Maharaj is doing. Let us now actually just read the translations instead of verses. So 28th. 28th verse, we have already read the verse or translation. Oh no, 28 we have actually done. 29, sorry. 29.
29. Yes. When the personality of Kali understood that the king was willing to kill him, he at once abandoned the dress of a king and, under pressure of fear, completely surrendered to him, bowing his head.
Yeah. So Kali saw that Parikshit Maharaj is determined. Like, he is not talking now. The talk has finished, and the sword is in his hand, sharp sword, and he has said that, okay, I'm going to kill you. So he immediately, as soon as he did like that, he immediately abandons his kingly dress, and being fearful, he surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that the real Kshatriya never surrenders. That shows that this Kali was only wearing a dress of a king, of a Kshatriya. But he, in reality, was a fake Kshatriya. He wasn't a real Kshatriya. One of the quality, when we actually was talking about Bhagavad Gita, Kshatriya's quality, one of that is Yuddhe cha apalayana. So they will never run away from the Yuddha. They are actually looking forward to Yuddha, Kshatriyas. But here, as soon as Parishit Maharaj took out his sword, Kali did not actually took out his own sword as well and started to fight. He gave up his dress and he surrendered. He said, "Arey, don't kill me." So he's not, he has stopped fighting. Like, it did not even start fighting. So he had just surrendered. So, 30th verse, translation. Yeah.
Maharaj Parikshit, who was qualified to accept surrender and worthy of being sung in history, did not kill poor surrendered and fallen Kali. He smiled compassionately, for he was kind to the poor.
Yeah. So this is another quality of Kshatriyas, that if someone surrenders to them, then they will give shelter and then they won't kill them. So even an ordinary Kshatriya will do that. What to speak of Parikshit Maharaj? He is called as Dinavassala in the verse, in the first line. If you see, Krupaya Dinavassala, he is a Dinavassala. He is kind to the poor and he is worthy of giving shelter. So that is why uh, he has already compassionately he decided that okay, I'll not kill him. His Kali has asked for his shelter, so he has decided not to kill. 31st. Mahendra.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The king thus said, "We have inherited the fame of Arjuna. Therefore, since you have surrendered yourself with folded hands, you need not fear for your life. But you cannot remain in my kingdom, for you are the friend of irreligion." Hare Krishna.
So he's saying, Parishit Maharaj, we have inherited the fame of Arjuna. So I'm coming from the lineage of Arjuna. And hence we have inherited his fame as well. So because I have inherited Arjuna's fame, who as a great warrior and as a Kshatriya, he will not kill any person, even if he is greatest enemy, he will not kill them if they are surrendered, if they surrender, take shelter of him. So I will not kill you, as you have surrendered to me with folded hands. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you can stay in my kingdom. You are the friend of Adharma. You are a Adharma Bandhu. So you cannot stay in my kingdom. So it is very clear. What happens next?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If the personality of Kali, irreligion, is allowed to act as man, god, or an executive head, certainly religious principles like greed, falsehood, robbery, incivility, treachery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel, and vanity will abandon.
Will abound, will increase.
Will abound.
So he's saying the reasoning why Kali cannot stay. Because if you are allowed to act as a king, because you remember he was wearing a dress of a king. So if Kali is allowed to be there, to remain there, then adharma will prevail everywhere. Why? Because yadyat acharati shreshthas tattad eveta rojana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. If the king himself is adharma, then the entire kingdom will be full of adharma. So if Kali is allowed to stay, then what will increase? That's a long list. Greed, falsehood, robbery, incivility, treachery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel, vanity, all of these will increase. It will be everywhere. But Parikshit Maharaj is focused on maintaining the principles of religion. He wants to maintain austerity, mercy, truthfulness, all of those principles of religion. He wants to cleanliness, all of those he wants to maintain, not these irreligious principles. He is a devotee of the Lord. So the Lord came for the mission of re-establishing the principles of religion. So the devotees will also try to help the Lord by maintaining the principles of religion. So Srila Prabhupada is talking about in the purport that these principles can be followed by the followers of any religion. That they don't have to actually turn from Muslim or Christianity to Hinduism. They can actually continue to follow their religion. They can continue to follow their religion, and they can still maintain these principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. These are the principles given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's move on. 33.
Therefore, O friend of your religion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religious principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So you cannot stay here. Because why? Because this is the place where experts are performing sacrifices according to principles of Dharma. And they are doing these activities for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada is again a little in the second or third line. He gives very important point about sacrifice. Just like we talked about austerity before, here he talks about sacrifice. Sacrifice means to accept the supremacy of the Lord and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respect. So sacrifice means accepting the supremacy of the Lord and doing our activities to please the Lord. That is sacrifice. And what is the best sacrifice for Kali Yuga? That is mentioned that Sankirtan Yajna. We should do Sankirtan Yajna. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give to all of us. If the Sankirtan Yajna is performed anywhere and everywhere, then the personality of Kali will be driven away from this Kali Yuga, from the human society. 34th verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In all sacrificial ceremonies, although sometime a demigod is worshipped, the Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead is worshipped because he is the super soul of everyone and exist both inside and outside like the air. Thus, it is he only who awards the welfare to the worshipper. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So in the 33rd verse, there was this Yajneshwara has been mentioned. So Parikshit Maharaj is clarifying who is the Yajneshwara. So Yajneshwara is the Supreme Lord himself. Even if sometimes the Yajna may be performed for some other devatas. But even if the other devatas are getting worshipped in the Yajna, finally the result of the Yajna, all the worship of the Yajna goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the result of the Yajna also comes by the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes the Bhagavad Gita verse 9.23, which mentions that even those like the devotee, even though sometimes the devotees of the other gods, other like demigods, they are worshipping the devatas, they worship only me. But the problem is that they are doing it indirectly. They are doing it in a wrong way, avidhi purvakam. So the conclusion is that even if you are worshipping devatas, if the worship is going to the Supreme Lord, and even if you are getting anything out of that worship, that itself also coming from the Supreme Lord, then why worship the Supreme Lord indirectly? Avidhi purvakam. You should just worship directly and get everything directly from the Supreme Lord. So don't do avidhi purvakam, do vidhi purvakam. 35th verse.
Sri Suta Goswami said, the personality of Kali, thus being ordered by Maharaja Parikshit, began to tremble in fear. Seeing the king before him like Yamaraj, ready to kill him, Kali spoke to the king as follows.
Yeah, so Parikshit Maharaj has given a very clear order that you have to leave from my kingdom, then I will not kill you. But if you disobey my order, then look at what I have in my hand, a sharp sword. I will immediately kill you. So if he disobeys, then he will be killed. So he is seeing Like Parikshit Maharaj has Yamraj in front of him. So looking at him and trembling in fear, Kali starts speaking. So you just take one or more verses and then finish. 36th verse.
O your majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall but see you with bow and arrows whenever I look, wherever I look.
Yeah, next translation as well. Uma Mataji Vidushu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Therefore, O chief amongst the protectors of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protectionship of your government.
Yeah, Kali is actually giving some important point. He's saying that you are a Sarvabhauma. In the 36th verse, you said that you are a Sarvabhauma king. That means you are ruling the entire planet Earth. And then you are saying that you can't live in my kingdom. So where should I go? Because you are ruling the entire planet and you are saying that I will not kill you, but at the same time, you cannot stay in my kingdom. So wherever on the earth I go, I will still be fearful of your bow and arrow because it is still your kingdom. So I'll be disobeying your order if I stay here. And at the same time, I don't have any other place there to stay. So that is why in the 37th verse, he's saying that you are the protector of religion. You have given me shelter. So you have to also give me a place to stay. Otherwise, like, how can you be the protector of religion? You have given me shelter. It is your duty to give me some place. So please fix some place for me to stay in your kingdom where I can live permanently under the protection of your government. The purport is small, very interesting. Srila Prabhupada is saying if a surrendered enemy gets protection from even ordinary Kshatriyas, like it is a principle that Kshatriyas have to give protection to the surrendered enemies. So he's saying if a surrendered enemy gets protection from the ordinary Kshatriyas, then imagine the protection that the Lord can offer to us, to his surrendered devotees, who is not worshipping him in the mood of an enemy, but they are surrendered servitors. So even a Kshatriya, ordinary Kshatriya is supposed to protect this person. Imagine how much Lord will be giving care and protection to all of us who are not his enemies, but we are surrendered servitors. So he's referring to 18.66 Sarvadharman Parityajya verse, quoting that example. So let us pause here. Very, very wonderful purport. Please read that to get some more insights. We have taken many questions before, so let us take some comments or reflections or any summary points. Any questions that you have, you can send me by message. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Again, a really wonderful lecture. And personally, what I liked is this lecture was that all the teachings that we do in ISKCON are Shastra based. So example he gave was perfect and principle and the reason why we follow them. And similarly, there are multiple examples there as well. So that was key for me as well. And then there was one more I forgot. I'll pass on to someone else. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks again.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Vishakha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you mentioned that seeing that someone is doing good to you when they are actually doing bad, it's very rare. And it's very difficult to think that when something bad happens that it's Lord's grace. So I was just thinking that we may not at that level, but looking back it's easy when we look back that that was happened. But yes, if that was not happened, we would not have reformed like this, or we would not have turned to Krishna or something like that. So at this stage we can at least relate that much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very good point. Thank you. Lochana Harini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, no question this time, obviously. Just wanted to say a few words of gratitude. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. I think the topic which you have covered today, the tendency for us to blame others, is really a cause of majority of our problems. So thank you so much for giving us such a valuable principle. And also thank you for answering my question, because when you mentioned that I answer your question all the time, I realized that I'm not being enough grateful for your wonderful, answers and what do you call it, enlightenment or whatever. So I don't know how many lifetimes I have to take to be able to give it back. But thank you so much, from bottom of my heart. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. That was not the purpose. But anyway, thank you. Gaura Chandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Narar Pranam. So, Prabhuji, I also have to express my gratitude. Actually, the class was full of great reminders for us, because we tend to get very casual and very easily blame others for our suffering, for the misdeeds that we have performed in the past. So, thank you for this reminder. It really helps us, especially if this is the right month, Purushottam month, where we have to get our consciousness right, and so can't thank you enough, Prabhuji. So grateful. And I always believed in what you already mentioned in the class today, that our destination is based on our consciousness, not on a particular activity. So I always believed in it, but thank you for confirming it. And so yeah, I have no words, but yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for these. It was a class of constant reminders, and I think I needed it. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm happy that it was useful. Vamini Prabhuji,
Definitely.
your hand is still up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, one more thing that I
Yeah.
forgot was, like, it's been touched by the devotees as well. That's that Krishna is causes of all causes. So ultimately, by his wish, we are like being let into a situation. But being a devotee, I guess we might have deserved even more. But being a devotee, it's like very little pinch that might have come. So we'll take it in that way. And that's the best way moving forward in the life, Prabhuji.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks again,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Dhanwad.
Sudanma Prabhu or Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session, especially the perpetrator who is to be blamed. I think when we were reading the Bhagavatam at that stage, we had this question, and you did say like you mentioned the same thing, like you have been asking, you had the same questions, and you were asking, how this can be possible. But thank you for putting more light on the same subject. Thank you, Prabhuji. And one thing which was like what Prabhupada's purports actually put light on was like we are happy when we good things happen to us. We say, oh, it's God's grace. But when materially we suffer or any bad thing happens, we say, oh, how can God be so cruel to us? But it's very hard. Reading is really easy, but putting it to practice when we are actually going through some things. But we'll try to practice that, and it's a good reminder, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us the way.
Yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam is the light of our life. Mukesh
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. There was many points for me to reflect on. I probably would have to listen and re-listen to this lecture, recorded version a few times. I just had a request, Prabhuji. If we can cover this session also in our regular Saturday Jyotish classes, and this is a session I personally feel, I don't know about everybody, I think everybody will say, every 3 months we should revise this session. This needs so much constant revision, Prabhuji, to deliver that message home. But that was my request, Prabhuji. Please make it happen.
So the video
Thank
is
you.
available. you can watch it every 3 months.
Yeah, but not everybody is that in those sessions, right? And we can have more interactive activities, Prabhuji, like you give the examples, and how would we deal with those examples? That will really real life examples would help us, because I have a few situations at work that immediately came to mind that give me a lot of anxiety. Even if I'm not harboring hatred, I harbor fear. As soon as that person comes into the picture. So there's a lot for me to, as you said, the consciousness has to transform. So yeah. Anyhow, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was very, very insightful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanwad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. I think if there is nothing further, no comments or no further comments or reflections, then we'll stop here. श्रीमद् भागवतम की
Jai.
जय
प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
जय
Jai.
His Grace Ambarish Maharaj Prabhu ki
Jai.
भक्तवृंद की
Thank you,
जय।
Prabhuji.
Jai.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Hare
so much,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you
Hare
so much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Dandar Pranam. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you so